Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's April 4th, 2017. This is a follow-up to the first video I put out today on the false flag chemical weapons attack in Syria. If you missed the video I put out earlier, I'm going to link it below. A lot of important information. After making that video, somebody sent me a link to this man's site, Dr. Shajul Islam. It turns out this man has been in the media recently. The Daily Mail wrote on July 28, 2016, this story of him being arrested for kidnapping or accused of kidnapping. Later, the charge was dropped. But anyhow, this man has been in the media before. Today, on YouTube and social media, he's putting out the word that the chemical weapons attack was a sarin gas attack and Syria needs help defending itself from terrorism. And I'm going to link his video so you can watch it. He goes and he shows many people who are laying in hospital beds, and he'll open up their eye and he'll show you that their eyes, the pupil is completely dilated. He refers to it as pinpoint pupil. He uses the phrase again and again. He goes, see pinpoint pupil, see pinpoint pupil. What's interesting is if you read what happens when you are exposed to sarin gas, most people who are exposed to sarin gas do not die, but it turns the body's nervous system against itself, and fluids start flowing out of the eyes, the mouth, everywhere fluid can come out. Diarrhea, your body essentially spews out all of its liquids until the impact of the gas wears off. Most people, it hurts them, it causes just what I said, but eventually it wears off and they survive. What's interesting, if you watch this video, and I'll link it below, you don't see any of the people in the beds doing any of these things. You don't see any slobber or secretion coming out of the eyes. He shows the eyes. Everyone's eyes look dry, but they are. Something's up with everybody's pupils. Hard to say. The people could even be wearing contacts. It's hard to say. The point is, I'm going to prove to you that this man is a propaganda agent, and he has created this character that he plays for today's news. Recently introduced in the news, and now today he's getting out the word on social media that Syria needs international help from terrorism. And then what we're going to do at the end of this is we're going to look at the publication The Atlantic, who has a history of Zionist propaganda that even, outdoes the New York Times. I'm going to show you how the Atlantic publication foreshadowed the 2013 chemical weapons attack in Ghouta just outside Damascus, and also today's attack. It is sick, truth seeker. This is all planned propaganda long in advance, all part of the ongoing Zionist agenda of creating this Islamic boogeyman and a reason for Western military dominance in the Middle East region in close proximity to Israel. This man's name, Dr. Shajul Islam, in Gematria sums to 147. And if you watch the video that I put out this morning, I was talking all about 147, it being a number used by the Freemasons in their propaganda routinely. Dr. Shajul Islam equals 147, like chemical weapons, just like when you write out 94, and here we are on April 4th, the 94th day of the year. This 94-147 connection is bigger than just today's news, and it even factors into the world of rig sports. If you doubt that, watch my video on the Chicago Cubs' 94th win in their 147th game, and I showed how that foreshadowed they would win the World Series in Game 7 on November 2nd, which is exactly what they did. That was 47 days before Game 7 of the World Series. But 94th win in the 147th game, World Series equals 147. It's because it's all Freemasonry. Freemasonry has created this language. Freemasonry is controlling the fake news, the rigged elections, the rigged sports. They're controlling the whole show that controls the mind's eye of the masses. Because all of these things come through the TV, which might as well be renamed the Freemason Zionist Jukebox, because that's 100% who's in control of it. So anyway, the doctors named 147 like chemical weapons like 94. As I just explained, every day is April Fool's Day. That's why they give us April Fool's Day to clue us in to how we're all being mocked and lied to and deceived and teased. Every day is April Fool's Day. Here we are on April 4th. The word Freemason equals 147, conspiracy. Here in the United States, and I'd be interested to know how they're reporting this in the Europe and the UK. They're probably reporting it the same way. Here, the focus is all on how is Donald Trump going to react to this. Every news station is carrying it this way. CNN, MSNBC, Fox, they're all saying, how is Trump going to respond? And the reason this is so interesting, the way they've drawn out this narrative, is because in December, Trump said that if he was president when the Damascus chemical weapons attack happened, he would have attacked Syria and removed Bashar al-Assad. And he said Obama was weak to call for a vote. Weak to go about it the Democratic way. I mean, just think about it. Donald Trump's calling for legitimized terror, stop and frisk. He's saying Democratic policy is weak. He wanted to just go to war over the false flag attack, you know? So anyway, that was his policy in December. That's what he said in December. But just a few days ago, he came out and he said that he's over Syria. He doesn't care about Bashar al-Assad. Syria's off the table. It's not a focus to him. He just said that days ago. And now what do we get? Another chemical weapons attack. And Donald Trump just had the tough talk about how he'd respond to a chemical weapons attack. So what's going to happen here? Look at this. President of the United States, 147. To be a president, you got to be a Freemason. At the White House, there's 147 windows. And I have a theory about why. No doubt, it is a Freemason tribute, 147 windows. President of the United States, the building he resides in. The White House is named after George Washington, who has the gematria of 74, just like the word window. And George Washington, a 33rd degree Freemason. Today's news comes exactly 74 days after Donald Trump became president, January 20th. On his 74th day, he's given this pickle of a dilemma. What's he going to do? 3 months ago, he'd go right to war. 3 days ago, he said he doesn't care anymore. What's it going to be? So anyway, 74 days, 74 super Masonic number, Masonic 74. Freemason history is based in Jewish history, the Old Testament, ancient Israel, Solomon's Temple, Masonic 74, Jewish 74, occult 74, killing 74. They're saying it's a sarin gas attack. Sarin sums to 74. How perfect, you know? Also interesting, you know, sometimes these things could be coincidence, but probably not. Here in the U.S., this whole story is focused on Donald Trump right now. How is Trump going to react? Sarin gas 88, Trump 88, Trump all of his tough rhetoric about ISIS and how he would just defeat them and carpet bomb them. You know, Obama and John Kerry were advocating for this same type of thing for a moment in 2013 before it went to vote, and somehow we didn't go to war. For the first time in our nation's history, we passed up an opportunity to go to war. And what I said in 2013 is I said, don't be fooled. They're just pushing it down the road till when the time is right. And perhaps that's now. But anyway, sarin gas 88 like Trump. Remember when 88 generals endorsed Trump just before the election? 88, always coded into Trump headlines. 88 goes back to George Washington, the first Freemason president. The Republican Party even equals 88. Want to know something funny? Clinton equals 87. The Democratic Party equals 87. At the rate we're going, Hillary will be president in 2020. Just watch. It's all part of the mocking. So anyhow, here's the article of this man from the Daily Mail. Never mind the Post Times. Here's what really blew my mind, though. This is the mind blower. The Atlantic on May 6th, 2013. This is 107 days before the chemical weapons attack in Ghouta just outside Damascus of 2013 that nearly sent us to war. This morning I covered the parallels between that news and today's news. Again, that video's linked below. What does sarin gas do to people? This article, it ends with this question right here. In war, though, where there is already so much horrifying violence, should this weapon in itself necessarily be a red line that escalates international involvement? And the reason it says that is because the article explains most people do not die from sarin gas. Talks about the things I talked about. The fluids coming out of the eyes, the mouth, the rear end, the nose. Everywhere fluids can come out. Anyhow, that article asks that specific question, which became very relevant just 107 days later when the U.S. nearly went to war over this right here, a sarin gas attack. And look, this was written by The Atlantic. This is a fact. This isn't some crazy person on the internet making stuff up. This is 100% fact that everyone can verify because a lot of people have put the knowledge and information and proof out there. From the late 1800s, like 1880, up to the time of World War II, several U.S. papers in the UK, but most of all, these two papers, The Atlantic, who wrote this article, and the New York Times, more than any other publication, they printed that 6 million Jews had died in the world somewhere between 1880 and the time that World War II started. They posted 1 million times over, these papers, that 6 million Jews had died somewhere in the world. Again, and again, and again. And you know how many Jews they say died in the Holocaust in World War II? Which is a complete lie? 6 million. And do you know why they say 6 million? Because 6 million Jews have to die to reclaim Israel in the Talmud, which is what modern day Judaism goes by. Most Jews aren't against Israel, even though in the Torah it says a Jewish state is forbidden. The Torah, the true Jewish holy text, the Talmud, what has taken over Judaism. Just like how in the Bible it says the false Jews will rule in the end times, the Talmud is the book of the false Jews. And the lies within it have been used to create agenda. The Holocaust, Israel, it's all part of a lie, an agenda. The Atlantic and New York Times, just search on YouTube. There's a man with a nice heavy accent that saved all these papers, and he just goes through them through history, showing all the 6 million Jews, 6 million Jews dead, 6 million Jews starving, 1800s to the time World War II started. And no papers will come up more when he's going through those collections than the Atlantic and New York Times. So check this out. The Atlantic equals 113, our number of deception straight from the Talmud. Baba Kamal 113a, Jews may use lies to circumvent a Gentile. A Gentile, also known as a Goyim or a Goy, or someone who isn't Jewish. This says it's okay to lie to someone who isn't Jewish. Now, who controls the papers? You see, the papers were created by the bankers and the industrialists who were all, guess what? Jewish. And you know what? You have to respect it. For these people to dominate the way they do, it takes intelligence, and they've achieved it. Yeah, they're cruel. Yeah, they are vicious. Yeah, they do it with deception. But you know what? It takes the rest of the people not doing anything about it. It takes the rest of the people going along with it and not having the backbone to stand up to it. And look at what we have here in the U.S. A nation of people being trained to hate an innocent party, Islam, while loving Israel, the people who are largely responsible for September 11th. I don't mean to be confusing in my words. The same people who run Israel run the United States. But the thing is, they have this world loving and defending the Jews who are doing this to us and hating people who are an innocent party, who are being scapegoated, which is an important part of Jewish faith, the scapegoat. So anyway, the Atlantic 113, the paper that said 6 million Jews died 1 million times over. I mean, the whole population of Jews wouldn't exist if 6 million Jews died as many times as they reported it. Those stories never stuck. Nobody talks about those stories. It finally stuck with the World War II. Remember, the only reason the U.S. joined World War I was because of the promise of delivering Israel, the Jewish state. Got to know your history. So anyway, 113, mainstream 113, dishonest, perjury, bullshit, fiction, The Atlantic, Baba Kama 113A, you can bullshit a goy. It's fair game. They're stupid. Remember, the purpose of the goy is to be the slave race so that the Jewish people don't have to work. It says it right in the Talmud. So you know you're part of the religion? That's what you're supposed to believe. Religion. The only thing that fucks us up more than the news, you know? So anyway, if you watch the video, I'm going to link that guy's video below, who we started with, the doctor, Mr. 147. He keeps saying pinpoint, pinpoint, pinpoint pupil. Pinpoint 113, pinpoint pupil 187. And if you watch it, I mean, it looks like something's been done to the people's eyes that he looks at. But, you know, I'm sure there's some tricks in the book. Who knows? They could be wearing contacts. I think I said that earlier. 187 is also a huge number in Washington, D.C. Real quick, I want to show you this about 187 and Trump, since here in the U.S. they're bringing this back to Trump. Donald Trump had his GOP convention July 18th, 18/7, exactly 187 days before Inauguration Day. Check out the gematria of Washington, D.C., where he became president, 187, just like George Washington, 187. Just like Rockefeller, 187. Trump was in Rockefeller Plaza the night of the election. Donald Trump's a Jesuit. They are called the Society of Jesus, 187. He had his convention in Ohio, in Satanic Gematria, Ohio's 187, just like the word time. 187 days later, he's the president in Washington, D.C. Satanic Gematria, another cipher that's very relevant. The last Republican president was George W. Bush. George Washington, born on the 187th day of the year. The Skull and Bonesman. So it all comes back to Freemasonry. You know, the square, the compass, their symbols, important mathematics in this world. I'll link all this information. If you're new to my channel, go back and watch my videos. If you have time, I'd watch every video I have put out since about the end of January. Actually, I just watch every video I put out all year. I mean, at the beginning of the year, I put out some great videos. My work has become a lot better in 2017. It was good before. In 2017, it's taken a new level. You want to know all the information I've been putting out about what's going on in this world. We got these people. We got them figured out, truth seeker. So look, that article was May 6th, right? May 6th, 2013. You know, that the Atlantic wrote about the sarin gas and is it worth an international conflict? Because it doesn't kill people, it just messes with them. From that date of that article to August 21st, 2013, 107 days. And look at what sarin gas attack equals, what the article's about, 107. 107 days later, this is exactly what we got that nearly started the international conflict. Just like military is also 44. The date that article was written up here, May 6, 2013, by James Hamblin. Date with 44 numerology, James Hamblin, 44. 44 coded into the 2013 attack, coded into today's attack. Today's the anniversary of the establishment of NATO. Military, 44. April 4th, 44. For a little bit more on 44, today's attack is in Khan Shaykhun, just south of Aleppo. Last time the attack was right by Damascus. Look at this. Khan Shaykhun equals 144, just like Ghouta, Syria equals 144, where the last attack was. Today's April 4th, the lone date in the calendar year when written out that sums to 144. When you write out 44, it sums to 144, which is exactly why it has a mutilated spelling. That's the real reason there's no U in 40, because it's all about gematria. And this number is big and boss. It has everything to do with time and rituals by time. Been talking about this number a lot recently in false flags. Yesterday in Russia, the bomb went off at 1440 military time. March 22nd in London, the bomb went off at 1440 military time. We see this again and again. Special number here. Time's a killer. And again, when you write out 44, it sums to 144 like April 4th. Military 44, kill, execution, genocide. April 4th also has the gematria of 153 like Ghouta, Syria, like Holy Bible. There's the prophecy from Isaiah 17:1 about destruction in Damascus. There's the film Wag the Dog about making up fake news, lying about war to distract the masses. Today's date, April 4th, 2017, also has Holy Bible Gematria and Gutenberg. Both words 45 front and back. That's rare in case you're new to the study. Gutenberg, the first published Bibles. So anyhow, if you missed the video, there's a whole bunch more that I talked about earlier this morning. That video is linked below. With regards to the 153, I also want you to notice that from the article written by The Atlantic to August 21st, 2013 was a span of 108 days or 15 weeks and 3 days. In Ghouta, Syria, 153. Special number, 153 fish in the miraculous catch. Down below, I'll link the article from The Atlantic, May 6, 2013. I'll link the article about the doctor. You know, they're getting these characters out there. These are the characters. These people work for the media. It's all planned, you know. 8:44 post time, huh? What's 4 plus 4? 8? 88? We talked about how 88 connected to Sarin, gas, and Trump as well. So I'll link all this below. I'm even going to link the Atlantic's phone number. Maybe you want to give them a call. Guess what my next video is on, Truth Seeker? We'll be right back.